Welcome to the Flicks, Picks, and the Nitpicks, and I am your host, Nove718. And let's talk about the X-Men New Mutants trailer. Since it was supposed to come out and been pushed back again for the umpteenth time, this film should have been out, like, I believe 2 to 3 years ago. There's a new trailer coming out. It's said to really come out, unfortunately, because we have our situation as it is in the era that we're in right now. They decided to push it back. People assumed it would go straight to streaming, but I'm kind of glad that they feel some sort of confidence in this overstay uh, from the Fox universe, to be submitted on Disney untainted, unwatered down, so it may seem. That said, there's a new trailer out for the new film, and let's just check it out together and see what they're talking about. I like what I see so far. I love the darker feel to the films. I always enjoyed the X-Men rendition, the Fox Five's rendition of the X-Men. Yeah, the continuity is all over the place. But in terms of aesthetic and the presentation and the stories it decides to tell and the manner in which it decides to, it's always fascinated me, and I've actually enjoyed the attempts of still making it fresh and new now that I've surrendered from the fact that this is not going to be exactly like the comics. These are going to be adaptations based upon what they can provide in the TV format, or is that, excuse me, in a live action format. And for better for worse, we're just now getting into the realm of TV being able to a TV series being able to serialize longer winded storytelling, so at least we could add more resonance and tell a lot of smaller stories that still won't, in effect, lead to developing the character even further, maybe prior or in between live action films. The question is, however, is going to be now, especially post the era we're living in right now, will streaming be the new wave? Because if we still have streaming and film and theaters, that always has been seen as a higher premium. So, do you want to have a high premium character in a low budget streaming series? So, because it could kind of make people feel like, well, why go see that when I see the film when I could watch this? So it's gonna be they're gonna have to make a hard line, the definitive way to tell great stories on a smaller screen, but also make you feel like it was worth it. If a film doesn't need to be high on visual effects, that the filmmaking in and of itself, the you will see why you would need to see it on film. They're gonna have to try to provide a reasoning for either or. But needless to say, they have confidence that this could actually work in the theaters. I do too. From what I've seen so far of the trailers, I love what I see. So let's just check it out and see what we're looking at right now. And I'm actually kind of excited because I actually really like what I've seen so far.
This is a facility for young mutants like yourself. When mutants first got their powers, chances are they hurt someone. I know you're scared, but you're safe now. I don't think this is a hospital. He's there.
The New Mutants.
Okay, I was about to say, like, that's it, like a TV spot. I love the dark tones and the dark aesthetics.
I want you to respond truthfully. Have you ever hurt someone?
Yes.
And I love the chanting in the background. Okay, they show the Fox 5 thing there.
Have you ever experienced anything you'd consider abnormal?
Yes.
Last question. Do you know what mutants are? Did you know baby rattlesnakes are more dangerous than adult ones? They haven't learned how to control how much venom they secrete. All of you are dangerous. That's why you're here.
I wonder who she is. I can't remember. I think supposed to be Sunspot. I think he's Cannonball though.
What is this place?
This isn't a hospital. It's a haunted house.
You've been through a lot. Get some rest.
I think I heard Demon Bear they show. I love the kids chanting in the background. Okay. Says more. Guess not. I like it. I thought they was gonna show Demon Bear, but I really love what I'm seeing so far. I mean, I told you guys already, I love the dark aesthetic, the more serious nature, because it feels like there's a lot more stakes involved in the Fox 5 universe, even though they crap the bed in continuity. In terms of each film, you feel like there's stakes. You feel like that there's a lot more at risk, and you can feel what they excel at is building tension between characters. Yeah, there's some moments they cracked the bed on in the beginning. I thought they overdid the whole Jean and Wolverine and Cyclops thing. I understood they had to tell it, but in the first movie it was kind of like Wolverine came off more like a dick in that one, like to me, because it was like you was hawking onto his woman from the rip. So but they needed to tell it. Outside of certain corny things that they would do, and it was more because they wanted to submit it to you because it was part of the lore. They may not have translated well, at least for me, in a very subjective manner. But when it comes to, if I could be a tad objective as I can be, I always felt like they excelled at still making the film very mature for those that grew up with the films. Now that we're with the cartoons and the comic books, now that we're adults, and let's be for real, they're taking not so much from, even though they are pulling information from way back in the day, they're really pulling from the 90s era of writing in comic books. A lot of those stories, I mean, I know they taking 80s stories, but when I say they take it from our era, we revisited a lot of those older stories in the cartoons, and you can tell that they're drawing a lot more from the cartoons, and a lot in basically the overall adoption of the characters, because Wolverine got popularized in the 90s, maybe even the late 80s, but definitely the 90s. That's what elevated him as a singular mutant character in the X-Men family, as being up there as part of the upper echelon. So when you see that they're pulling from these type of periods and this type of times, and but they still, and now that we're older now, and it's really sensitive towards how we are as adults, while still giving you a lot of what you wanted to see. Now there's some people that are ready for the spandex yellow stuff. I'm cool with the interpretation. I like the fact, because it makes it feel like it's lived in. I loved when they went with the period pieces with the 60s and the stuff. I love that. Like, Fox really did go out of their way to try to do a lot of creative and innovative stuff, even to rebuff their mistakes, even for them to start from the behind, start it all over again, but marry it all together by doing Days of Future Past. it was such a creative and dynamic way to do it, even though it makes you wonder how the hell this nigga showed up in the future when Professor Xavier, then he just evaporate into nothing. But at the end of the day, he uses his mind a lot. There's a lot of ways you could work around it, but that's where they fell apart at their continuity. But at the end of the day, they were very adult in dealing with the subject matter, and that was something that they excelled at. Like what I would have loved to have seen would have been if they could have did like a Black Panther, a Fox 5 version of Black Panther with the same tools. I would have loved to seen that because I always felt that they Disney that film so much up further than what the character was in Civil War. He was a more serious character, and I was hoping that we could get a little bit more of that in the MCU. And maybe since it seems like they're gonna be inserting the X-Men into this series, into the franchise, or to be more specific, in the MCU, because I was really hoping that they would keep it separate. I hope that the X-Men, just even the nature of those characters, will make them approach these characters because they come with a lot of mature content to deal with, and I hope they could deal with it on that level. But as they get more successful and they want to sell overseas, I just hope that it, even though I know it will behoove them for translation purposes for certain things to land to dumb down a lot of the dialogue, I don't want to see that. I want us to make that film and deal with it. But as it pertains to New Mutants, that's the things that I love about this, that it shows that the creativity behind Fox and the fearlessness for Fox to try different things. They try to make Fantastic Four a body horror film, which was a dope idea in concept and execution. It would have worked. It started off very well, and the other half kind of lost itself. I say all that to say this. I love what I see. We're gonna go through the last rewind, but I just want to express how much that I like what Fox was doing with the films in terms of mature viewing of superhero characters. Those that grew up with it, I think that it really worked very well. And even though I look forward to what the MCU will do with this, and I like new things, so I'm not mad at it redoing everything. I do feel like we lost big on us not having a Fox franchise. That, and as well as not keeping it separate from the MCU, keeping it the X-Men separate from the MCU. I love to see the kid in me, love to see it. I feel like we're gonna lose out on a lot of quality storytelling by losing their history if they just start to show up right now. It's gonna, like, I don't want to see a Storm that learned how to be a weather woman 5 years ago between in between the snap. I don't want to see that. I want to feel like she was lived in. She was doing this since she was a kid. I want to feel like she has history. She comes in with a backstory. I want to feel like when we meet mutants, we should have got them in the middle of their journey, not at the very beginning. So it should be interesting. I have some ideas, but we'll get into that in other videos. But let's just check this trailer out one more time and see how good I like it. How good it is to me. And go.
This is a facility for young mutants like yourself. When the mutants first got their powers, chances are they hurt someone. I know you're scared, but you're safe now.
And they're really going for a
I
horror
don't think this is a hospital.
genre film when it pertains to the New Mutants. They're really going horror, and I love it. I love it.
He's there.
The New Mutants.
I'd prefer rated R, of course, but yeah, it's PG.
I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. I want you to respond truthfully. Have you ever hurt someone?
Yes.
Have you ever experienced anything you'd consider abnormal?
Yes.
Last question. Do you know what mutants are? Did you know baby rattlesnakes are more dangerous than adult ones? They haven't learned how to control how much venom they secrete. All of you are dangerous. That's why you're here.
What is this place?
This isn't a hospital. It's a haunted house.
You've been through a lot. Get some rest.
Again, like I said, I love it. They're really going for that horror aesthetic, and if it comes to if it all lands on the trailer, yo, it's really showing you what this film is about, and it's going for horror, and it seems like it's not gonna wince. Now, again, seeing the PG-13 lets me know it has its limitations, but the film may not require a lot of blood and gore or whatever. Or from what I understand, the R rating could be more about the cursing. So I haven't looked it up, but I've listened to other movie pundits discuss it and say that it's certain technicalities with the R rating. That's why you could stretch the PG-13 to quite far. That being said, again, for horror flick, I prefer my horror flicks to start with the letter R. But at the end of the day, for what it's worth for a comic book film, it feels like it's not going to shy away from anything that they're going to imply, be it anything evil, demented, and death. And it just seems like the implication is going to be a lot of stakes at it, even if there's a lot more mental manipulation going on. I think it'll still be weighted in a very real way in terms of the fear the fear aspect, all the screams and the fear. I think it's gonna feel warranted. I think it's gonna feel earned. All the tension will be earned. With that being said, let me know what you guys think down below. Am I rambling on too much? As always, about the things that I like so much. Let me know. But and like I said, that's what we're here to do. We're here to chop up game, discuss what we like about these films, and really communicate it to each other. And if we have any type of discourse in terms of thoughts and ideas, yay, leave it on the comments below, man. I'll talk. I'll come outside and I'll chop it up with you guys, man. It's all love, man. But in any event, I want you guys to stay safe. You know, we already know we got to do the social distancing, but there seems to be a light at the end of the tunnel. So still be aware, still pay attention, but also there's a lot to be hopeful about. Like, share, subscribe. See you next time. And as always, I'll have a better outro. Cheers. Or rather, it's 420, so put it up in the sky if you got it.
You've been through a lot. Get some rest.